Hello, folks. This is Malachi, and I wanted to address a couple things. First off, guild information. Those three of you who are in Kingdom 248, you need to move back to the original guild kingdom. Everybody else has already moved, so it's only y'all three that are left there. And if you need a shield or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll send that to you. Okay. Now let's get on with the regular information. And I'm going to try and be fairly quick with this because I am at work, as you can tell. Yeah, as you can see, I'm at work. I'm at work in the mud hole. This is my lunch hour. So, I hope you can see me okay. Anyway, let's get into it. If you do not have a stockpile of coffee, I would really suggest that you go and get a bit of coffee up on your shelves, because Brazil is saying that they had a weaker harvest this year for coffee. And going along with that, down in Peru and Argentina, where we get a lot of the Araca beans, a lot of those plantations this year have been severely affected by weather and typhoons, etc. So if you like to drink coffee like I do, I mean, you can pretty much stick an IV in my arm. I'm a trucker. We drink coffee. Okay, baby. That's just the way it is. Yeah, you need to get, I would say get you enough coffee to last until next fall. That's just being on the safe side. For those of you who are new to prepping and you're pulling out your hair, trying to figure out, what do I get first? What do I do? Okay, let's calm it down. Okay, calm down. If you take medications, you need to talk to your doctor about getting 90-day prescriptions. That way you have at least 90 days on the shelf. Okay, number one. That's for all your prescriptions, number one. Number two, if you have a special diet that you have to have, I know that there are some families out there who cannot eat gluten foods, and there's other families out there who can't eat meat, they can't eat certain vegetables, yada yada yada. Okay, you need to make sure that you have at least a month's worth of that on your shelf. Now, everybody else I'm talking to is saying have a year. I think the supply chain is not going to completely break. The only thing that I will call an exception to on that is if you have a baby who must have specific baby formula. You want to get as much as that as you can get. Okay? Also, if you do have a baby, you want to get as many diapers as you can afford to get, and just make that a weekly purchase. Even if you don't need it right now, you need to make a weekly purchase of diapers of ascending sizes. So, like if your child's in a small now, you know they're going to grow, and in 6 months they're going to be in a large. So you want to try and think of that. Okay. Number three, meat. Any kind of meat. I don't care if it's dehydrated meat, jerky meat, meat that you put in your freezer. You need meat. Canned meats. If you have pets, do not get the dry pet food. Focus on the canned pet food. A reason I say that is the canned pet food will last you longer than the dry food, and the dry food, a lot of times it will turn moldy on you before you can use it. Now the exception to this is chicken feed, okay, because chickens, they'll eat anything, all right? So even if the chicken feed is a little bit moldy, it's still edible for them. Just take your precautions on storing it. And again, I would try and get enough to last you till next harvest season or next fall. Okay, now for some of you like me, I grow a lot of food in my yard for my chickens, and I let my chickens out to free range in the yard. So you want to make sure that you put seeds away. Now, for those of you in an apartment, you're going to say, I have no room to store all this stuff. You're right, you don't. Okay? So, what you need to do is you need to focus on dried foods, because they are smaller storage area that is required for dried foods, such as freeze-dried foods, which you can buy and set underneath your bed, set it up in the closet. It's good for 25 years. I would really, really suggest you look at getting at least a 3-month supply of freeze-dried food, just to be on the safe side. Also, if you live in an apartment building, please look at getting alternative ways of heating your apartment, which are by code for your area. So if that's a UCO candle, so be it. Okay, if that's a solar generator with a little heater, okay. If that's a kerosene heater, okay. If that's a Mr. Buddy heater, please be aware, if you're using these heaters, please be aware that you need to crack a window. Okay? Don't want anybody dying. You need to look at doing that now. And you need to look at least 3 months of supply as far as the fuel for those items go. Now the UCO candle, in case you didn't know, Alaskan Prepper put a review of the UCO candle on his page and his channel, and you can go and review that and see, he said how many BTUs, etc., in Alaska. Okay, and it kept the room warm. That's in Alaska in winter. So that's why I say it's well worth that you go and research some of these items. Now, if you are in the city, that's not a death toll for you, okay? You just need to be aware that anything that you do in the city is going to be observed. So you don't want to go out to like Walmart and be seen coming into your place with 4 or 5 cases of food, right? You don't want to do that, all right? You want to buy a can here, even if you have to go every day and buy 1 can, right? So all your neighbors are saying, oh, well, she likes Dinty Moore stew. I see her just about every day bringing in a can of Dinty Moore stew for dinner. And if anybody asks you, how come you're buying so much Dinty Moore stew? That's your response. Well, I like to have it for dinner. Or I like to have it in the morning, with my toast. That's your response, okay? You don't tell them that you're prepping, all right? You need to go gray man now, all right? So if you buy a bunch of stuff, don't be pulling all that stuff all at once out of your car and taking it into your house unless it has to be in the freezer, okay, in the refrigerator. Now, that being said, if you do buy a bunch of meat, be aware that the electricity, we're already seeing observations from various people across YouTube and across the world, actually, saying that this winter is going to be a harsh winter, and we already have electrical issues now. Now, can you imagine how that's going to be when it's cold outside and you got all the ice on the lines? And you know, if you live here in the East Coast, you know that if we have a snowstorm down here where I live at, all right, I can only tell you my experience, but you know, if we have a snowstorm here in this area, the electricity will go out for 2 or 3 days. All right? Now, just imagine that compounded by the fact that we can't get transistors and transformers for the electrical lines right now. So if the electricity goes out, it's liable to be a week or two before it comes back. So you need to plan for that now. Right now. Okay? Not when it gets cold. Because then everybody's going to be after it. Everybody's going to be trying to grab it all up. No, you need to plan for that now. Alright? Which means if you buy a bunch of freezer items, you need to have a way to run that freezer if the electricity's out. Whether it be a generator or via your vehicle. Running your vehicle with a cigarette lighter plug. Okay, because they do make them for that. Okay? So, you need to do this now. Alright? You need to be thinking ahead and really, really looking at what is happening right now. Because right now, we're already seeing the gas prices starting to creep back up. We're already seeing, as a trucker, I'm already seeing freight beginning to drop back down, which we normally don't see this slow time like this until January, February. This is August, and we're seeing it already, which means it's only going to get worse from here. So, I'm not trying to scare you. You still have time. There's still stuff on the shelf, but you need to think of the fact that you're going to have to be on your own for possibly 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even months, with no electricity and nothing on the shelves for you to buy. I want you to think about that, okay? Because with everything that's going on in the world as a whole, not just your little area, there's going to be food shortages. There's going to be rationing. In some areas in the United States, they're already rationing how many of an item you can buy at a time. So that's already happening. Okay, some of the hospitals are already running out of certain medications. Okay, so like I said from the get-go, if you take medications and you require those medications, you need to make sure you keep 90 days on the shelf. You need to have that, and you need to talk to your doctor about that, about being able to have that. And I understand sometimes you can't do that because, it's narcotics or whatever, but you need to talk to your doctor about, even if your doctor is storing it for you, to store that ahead of time so that you have it available. Some of the things that people don't think about is they don't think about blankets, they don't think about gloves, they don't think about coats. They don't think about batteries. I mean, simple batteries, man. Candles, simple candles, okay? You need to think about these things now, okay? You need to think of it as, okay, I'm going to buy this stuff, even if it's freeze-dried food, and I'm going to stick it in a corner and forget about it. at least you have it, right? It's good for 25 years. It might cost you a little bit more now than what it used to a year ago, but I really highly recommend that you have it on your shelf or in a corner somewhere. So if everything goes to crap, right, you can take care of you and your family. All right, and another thing you need to think about with that is you need to think about water in some kind of way to purify water, whether it be boiling it and then using a charcoal filter, or using like an Alexa Pure or Berkey or Life Straw or something of this nature. Okay, you need to go down those rabbit holes, research that, and get that straight, because when electricity goes out, you're not going to be able to get water out of the tap. There's only so much energy they have and water in the lines before no more of it's coming out of the tap. Okay, so you need to think about that, and you need to think about if they do shut the electricity off, like they did in Texas last year for 2 weeks. What do you do with sewage? These are some serious discussions you need to have with yourself now. Because I'm telling you right now, fall is coming on hard. It's already in the 40s and the 50s out west. Fall is coming hard and early. So that means we're going to have a very bad winter. That's just me saying that. I ain't got no information, I ain't got no almanac or nothing like that. I'm just telling you, I see it in the trees, I see it in the plants, I see it in the way the animals are acting, and the squirrels are packing away as much food as they can earlier than what they used to do. So that tells me, as an observer, that this winter is going to be very harsh. So you need to plan for that. And you need to think about if you have any kind of medical procedures that you need to have done, you need to have them done now if you can. Just sometimes you can't, and I understand that too. And now is a good time also, if you have extra income, now is a good time to buy a couple of silver coins or a couple of copper coins, and have those put aside just in case. Everything I'm seeing is pointing to a very harsh winter, and with everything going on overseas, we might be looking at war, which means all the manufacturing and everything is going to turn from making food and is going to turn into war machine. Okay, and so the things that we need, the normal things that we need, like teapots and coffee pots and things of that nature, are not going to be made. So you need to think about that. And with that, that's the end of my lunch hour. So I need to get back to work. And I hope all of you have a blessed day. And hopefully this will upload fairly quickly. I would like you to get this as soon as possible. It's just some of my ideas and some of my thoughts for you. And I just felt that I needed to put this out to you, because I'm just feeling like it's going to be really bad this winter, and I want everybody to be prepared for that. And with that, I'm going to let y'all go. So, bicycle!